following is a sponsored program. High Desert Broadcasting is not responsible for the views or claims expressed in this program.
Good morning. You're listening to AVNewsCast.com on News Talk 1380.
Morning.
Good morning. We have a couple of guests on the show. And I know that there isn't anyone that listens to this show that cannot and does not remember 8-year-old Gabriel Fernandez, who was tortured and murdered at the hands of his mother and the mother's boyfriend.
Right.
And today, this show is about Gabriel Fernandez. And on the show today, we have Emily, who is Gabriel's cousin. We also have another gentleman, Alicio, and we're going to bring him on in a minute, too, who's been very active in the community. I originally met him at a city council meeting. Emily, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for driving up. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
I enjoyed having you on the show when you called in a couple of weeks ago, and I'm glad to have you here in studio. And I want to ask you a couple of questions, okay? And then if there's anything that you by yourself want to talk about, that's all good. But one thing that you said that's really stuck in my mind from day one when you said it was the moment that his mother got custody of him and he moved into Pearl's home was the day his life began to end.
Well, from always being around the family during Gabriel's birthday parties, Easter's, just little regular holidays with him, Pearl was never active with him. She didn't interact with him. She was more of herself with her boyfriend. She did interact with the other children, but never with Gabriel. So just looking at them, you would never know that was a mother's son, because Gabriel was always with either his uncle, Michael, or his grandparents. So that those three main people, Robert, Sandra, and the Uncle Michael, were the three main caretakers of Gabriel. They showed him love. They nourished him. I never seen Pearl interact with him. I think maybe when Gabriel turned 6 at one birthday party, they got a picture with Michael, Sandra, the grandmother, Gabriel, and Pearl decided to jump in. But when we were singing happy birthday to him, she decided to get the cake and smash his face into it. Wow. Not as a friendly gesture, it was just plain evil the way we seen it, because she ruined his birthday. And he was upset, as well was her mother. Everybody was.
Oh. I'm looking at the face of you, Jeff, and you're just like in amazement.
She's just a real mess.
What kind of a neck?
I understand.
What do you think it was, other than the welfare check? What was it? Did she just have a hatred? How could you? Do you think she had a hatred for the boy?
I don't know what she felt for him. Just that she never interacted with him. If she gave him up from the day he was born to her Uncle Michael, his great uncle, right? There has to be something why she didn't want him. And from what her mom used to tell us, the minute that Pearl found out that she was pregnant, she never wanted Gabriel.
What about the other children?
The other children, they were fine.
Did she want them? Did she want contact?
She interacted with them all the time.
Did she have them, or
she did have them?
Oh, she did.
She did. The only child that was living with Robert and Sandra was Gabriel.
And the youngest.
No, the youngest went with the other father.
Right. Okay.
But at one time, they all lived together. Michael, Pearl, Robert, Sandra, the whole family lived together. So they all interacted with one another.
Did you ever witness any abuse by means of Pearl?
No.
Short of getting your face jammed in.
We're going to have a lot of outside callers that are going to want to call in, and can we just put one on the air? I have so many questions I want to ask, but let's just. Hi, you're live on News Talk Radio. Who's this?
Hi, this is Victoria.
Hi, Victoria. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
I'm good.
That's good.
Go ahead.
I had just called in because when I left a message on your board the other day, I was pretty well angry.
Oh, I saw that message.
You know, I listened to the show when the grandfather Gabriel, the grandfather of Gabriel was on there.
Mm-hmm. Robert.
And, yeah, Robert. And it was just horrible. He danced around every issue you asked him. There was nothing complete in what he said. You know, and then he talks about suing an already overtaxed California. And that just made me so angry.
Why? Can I ask why? Do you think the system works as it is?
I say that again, please.
Do you think the system works as it is?
Well, what I think is that Gabriel is still being abused. It's nothing but dollar signs. And if they're going to sue, are they going to sue for monetary gain? The lawyer didn't make that clear either. I wasn't impressed with the lawyer either.
You know what? I actually I've come to know his attorney, John, and his he has spoken to me off the air as well as on the air, but his main interest is in changing the system, and that's why he's bringing about this lawsuit. As far as monetary gains, I can't really talk about that, but I do know that they're interested in filing an action that has teeth and making some changes in DCFS.
Yeah, and I think that when you talk about these kind of changes, you can't just appeal to their common sense and say, look at your track history, you guys come together and change it, because that doesn't ever happen. So they have to sue. In some cases, I'm not sue happy, and I don't appreciate always hearing someone wanting to sue for one reason or the other. But in this case, you have to, because that's the only way that they will take a step back and change, if someone forces them.
I would like to hear, though, that all the money after legal fees is going to, like, Children's Hospital or something.
Exactly.
That's what I would like to hear.
That's what. Okay. What more can they do? We're just
in a pocket.
We're just normal people in this community that have already made a change. Dave Bronx, Emily and Amanda, we've made a change so far. Everybody that's protested and been out there without suing. We've got 4 workers with the Department of Children's Services fired. We've got people looking into the case. And we didn't sue. We just were ourselves with no money involved. What makes me mad is Robert is trying to blame DCFS for what happened to Gabriel. Poor Gabriel. Nothing like that should ever happen to any kid. But he is partially to blame. On your show, he did say that he saw that blister burn on his foot. What did he do about it?
Oh, I would have marched him right into the sheriff's office.
Exactly.
Yeah. To do something about this.
What about other family members that saw her, hit the kids? Nothing. Nobody did anything about it.
But you have to admit that the social workers or the
those
DCFS,
are the paid professionals that are supposed to be able to identify something as what it is and actually have the ability to make the motion to make that child's life safer. I mean, I get that. Hindsight is always 20/20. We have to just give it up to that. But when you look at the case history in this particular situation, it wasn't like family members didn't call. It wasn't like the teacher didn't call. It wasn't like the neighbors didn't call. It wasn't like the sheriff hadn't been out to talk to Gabriel. It wasn't like social workers hadn't been out to talk to Gabriel. And the ultimate responsibility outside of the parent loving their child is social workers, because that's their job. To identify abuse and do something about it. And so I find that they failed him. I mean, it's a sad situation that the poor baby was brought up and born in a loveless relationship in regards to his mother and his father. I don't know what that situation was about. But the bottom line is that who was paid to make sure that a child was safe? It was the system. And so they have to be held accountable, because that's their job.
Right. I agree with you to an extent on that. But, everything that Robert admitted to, I watched her slap Virginia so hard and I just got in her face. No, if he saw her doing it and he knew that she had all these cases against her since what was it, 2007, I believe. I read the reports that they had sent out. And she's had cases since 2007, but yet they didn't do anything. They got in her face. I'm not comfortable with that.
DCFS.
No, the father.
The
The
father.
father got in Pearl's face when Pearl slapped the older daughter really hard. And, but that's what, I don't know. I mean, I think hindsight, again, is 20/20. I don't know if at that point the grandfather had indicated that he saw a massive amount of abuse. I think that was like the early stages of it, if my memory serves right. But regardless, I mean, if my daughter did that, I would probably handle it myself. If that was an isolated incident, my mind wouldn't go straight to the system. I mean, I know of a family member, not a family member, but a friend that is having issues with her sister handling her kids, and she would love to take the kids away. I mean, it's not abuse, but it's just not a good environment for the kids. And so she was thinking of calling the system, and her attorney said, "No, don't do it, because if you call the system, those kids are going to be split up all over the place. I mean, we already know that the county will place your poor child in a house with predators. I mean, it's not giving your kids a safer alternative."
Yeah. Okay. Then what is it that we do? If you can't call the D,
we sue them so that they have to scratch it and do it over. We really have to. I get that California's broke, but California also has to be responsible. If they're going to call themselves an entity that takes and protects children, then they have to do it.
In order to make DCFS transparent, so that everybody, parents that have kids in the system, so that everybody understands what's going on, you have to file an action in order to blow that up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand filing an action, but like I said, if he's not doing it for monetary gain, that's okay. If it goes somewhere else, I can't see these people, using Gabriel's name and abusing him still in his death, to line their pocket and, get ahead in life. That was not what this is all about. And, I'm under the impression that that's what's going to happen.
But do you understand that sometimes with a lawsuit, in order to get someone's attention, you really have to grab their pocketbook?
Yeah.
Well, but he's not only going to grab the pocketbooks of the Department of Children's Services, he's grabbing everybody's that pays taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but, and I've said this before, with Gabriel, it takes a village to raise a child, and in this case, the village failed.
Well, not really. Exactly. The village was screaming.
Well, let me tell you something. Huh?
The village was screaming.
Okay.
The village screamed. The powers that be
did
not react. The chief didn't listen.
I've heard stories.
I totally get.
I've heard stories of neighbors that saw things and did not get involved.
Right.
Okay, that did not step up to the plate and
on
didn't
the news
swing.
admit to it.
Okay, so that's not the village taking care of a child. Okay?
Right, but I mean,
and Alicio's shaking his head, and he knows what I'm talking about.
I get it. Maybe not all 90 people that witnessed stuff called, but enough did for the system to do a job. Enough did.
If I had been
How many times does a teacher
an
have to
administrator at the school, this child and this child came to my school, and I could physically see he was abused, he would not leave my school property.
Yeah.
I could tell you that right now. There is no way in hell that he would ever leave school grounds, and he's not going home.
Yeah.
So there's a failure everywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my point exactly. It wasn't just one person that failed. It was everybody.
Believe me, they're suing everybody, too.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Sue
happy, but what happened to this poor child?
Oh my God, yeah.
Is not just when it comes to the system, but I personally can't even comprehend what would cause a mother to torture an 8-year-old child. I can't wrap my head around that.
Well, what was the on the news story where the first responder told them that they were beating the gay out of him?
What?
See, I never heard that.
That's the first I've heard.
I've heard that passed around, but I haven't heard it.
It was on Channel 5. It was on Channel 7.
Have you ever heard of that, Emily?
No, but I'm going to go home and YouTube it and see where it's at because I want to know. Because I mean, how do you determine if an 8-year-old is gay or not? It's a child. They have no sexual preference at that age. But I want to wrestle. I want to play cards. I mean,
I don't know.
Unless she was just that demented in her mind.
Well, she clearly is.
You know, because her uncle is that way, but that doesn't put Gabriel in that same situation.
Well, that's what everybody was saying, you know, at first, and then when it came out on the news that a first responder had asked them why they beat him like that, they said that they were trying to beat the gay out of him, and that that's what, quote, they whipped him for being dirty. And I don't think it meant physically soiled.
Well, that would explain a lot of that dress stuff, too.
Yeah, it would.
But if that was the comment, and you're trying to beat the gay out of an 8-year-old kid who's clearly not like that, I mean, why would you put him in dresses in the first place?
Oh,
you're messing with his identity from that get-go.
You're expecting rational behavior out of this person. You can't do that.
You're breaking him into another identity that was never introduced, but it's her fault. She introduced it to him. Even if he was never that way, she was introducing him to that state.
Yeah, we need to take a quick break. Victoria, thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Victoria.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. You're listening to AV Newscast on News Talk Radio 1380. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Hi, this is Randy Bishop, CEO of Varengo Solar. Did you know power bills are expected to increase 40% in the next 5 years? That's why I founded Varengo Solar, and why I'm so proud we are now the #1 residential solar installer in Southern California. We make it easy for homeowners to save thousands on their electric bills. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call. We'll pull up a satellite image of your roof and tell you right there on the phone if you can switch to solar with no money out of pocket. There are no upfront costs. Because with Varengo, you don't pay for the solar panels, you pay for the solar power at a lower rate than your electric utility charges you. And if Varengo can't save you money, we won't take your business. You can go solar for zero down. Like Ed Asner says, Varengo really has made going solar a no-brainer.
Call Varengo Solar at 800-897-9400. A 5-minute phone call could save you thousands on your electric bills. 800-897-9400. That's 800-897-9400.
Certain terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 935263. AVNewsCast.com comes to News Talk 1380. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning from 8 to 9, discover what's news in the Antelope Valley.
This isn't your grandpa's talk radio.
No, it's not. We're going to be live, edgy, and we're not going to pull any punches. Hi, this is Jeff Sheldon from AVNewsCast.com. Join me and my co-host Steve Benson live on News Talk 1380 AM every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning from 8 to 9. We're taking all the technology from AVNewsCast.com and bringing it to News Talk Radio 1380. You can catch us on the radio and watch our live video stream on your computer or smartphone. So call in and let's talk about what's affecting you in the Antelope Valley.
By participating in a contest on this high desert broadcasting radio station and or its website, you agree to the specific rules, terms, and conditions provided for that particular contest, either in addition to or in place of the official general contest rules. Contests are open to legal residents of the United States who are 18 years of age or older as of the date the contest begins unless otherwise specified. You may win once every 30 days. For complete rules of all of our contests, please visit this station's website. Thank you for listening to this high desert broadcasting station.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on News Talk 1380.
You know, before we went to break, I made the comment, I can't even comprehend. I've never even spanked my son. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'm one of the few, and I just happen to have I'm just really lucky. But,
well, if it's me and you, you're definitely one of the few.
Well, but I can't even comprehend how, and I've seen pictures of Gabriel at school, where you could clearly see that he had been beaten up. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
You could clearly see it. And I myself, I can't comprehend that.
No, not that. Not that. Because for me, I mean, I grew up in a community that spanking your child is not a bad thing. It's how you keep your kid in line and sense, and that, when they're young, they don't really understand the right and wrong. It's more of you're scared of your mother. You're scared of the wrath of your mother. But you never hit your child out of anger. I mean, that's just crazy.
Or shoot them multiple times with a BB gun or a pellet gun?
No, none of that.
Okay. In areas that you can't even imagine?
No.
I can't comprehend that. Okay? Or burn them. And I mean, that's... I don't even want to really go there. I do want to talk about the 4 social workers, Emily. When you called into the show the last time, we talked about forgiveness. And Robert has been on the show, Gabriel's grandfather, who actually said he could forgive his daughter, which I myself have a hard time with. And you even indicated that you could maybe forgive Pearl.
I said I would have to pray.
Yeah, hard.
I would have to pray.
Real hard?
Really, really hard.
Okay, thank you, girl.
As like I said the first time, I'm human.
Yeah.
And even though I portray myself as a godly person, as a Christian, I'm only human.
Yes.
I have anger.
Yeah.
I don't want to carry hate in my heart, but it's there. So the forgiveness that I'm praying for is for myself.
Yes.
That's what it is for.
That's it.
It's not
it
for the
doesn't
other
mean
person.
that you extend anything to Pearl.
I mean, and for the 4 social workers, after that question you had asked me, could I forgive them? I sat about it and I thought about it, and I'm thinking, were they allowed to see Gabriel? Did she say he wasn't home? Did she shelter him from them ever seeing him?
Those are answers that we don't have yet.
Right.
And that's why this lawsuit's important.
And so for me to say I can't forgive the social workers, I can't answer it because I don't know if they actually physically see
But that was their job in and of itself. If your job is to see if the child is safe and you go to the door and they say that the child is not there, then take me to the child. Where is the child? You keep on. You don't just say, oh, okay, well, this house is cool.
Yeah, you got to hang on like a pit bull.
Yeah.
Here.
From what she told his school teacher 3 weeks prior to his death, was she was sending Gabriel to live with his grandparents in Texas. So if that's what she told the social workers,
they have to follow up on that. The teacher doesn't. The social worker has
to. Did they actually do it?
No, apparently not.
Well, we don't know.
When will these 4 social workers, the 2 social workers and 2 supervisors, when will they be questioned? When will they come forward and answer all those questions that nobody has the answers to?
Well, perhaps they already have been questioned, but the answers to those questions haven't come out yet. But they will.
And they haven't been satisfactory, obviously.
And believe me, every record is going to be subpoenaed. Every individual is going to be deposed. And a lot of this information is going to become public. And we'll get some answers. And we'll find out at the end of the day really where the trail is. And you're going to find out exactly where the breakdown was, whether somebody went to the house, whether they just shirked their responsibilities. We'll find that out. Let's grab another call real quick. Hi, you're live on News Talk Radio.
Hi, Steve. It's Mia. Hi, Jeff.
Hi,
Mia.
Hi, Mia.
Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to call in because some of the calls that you're getting from the viewers, they might not understand that I'm going through a similar situation with my son. He's out of town, but it's certain laws that prevent us from doing certain things. I mean, we can try everything in the world, but how the laws are stated in California, it prevents us from helping children in certain ways. Not unless we want to be incarcerated ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go to a certain extent, but then, just like for the teacher, she could have lost her teaching credentials, she could have lost her job, by trying to kidnap him.
Well, that's what I say. That's like false arrest.
You know what? I hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, you know what? I don't think there is a court or a judge in the land that would convict an adult for trying to save an 8-year-old child's life.
And I'm with you on that one, Steve. I am with you on that one. But then you have to look at the other entities that person will be dealing with, the school boards and,
the police.
Yeah. She would be taking a chance, and I understand she was frustrated. She didn't know what to do. But at the same time, just like with the family side, Emily, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And it's the same with family also. A family member just can't come in and take a child. And that's where our laws need to change. When they see something happening, our laws need to change in order for family members to step in.
Yeah, just like I had mentioned earlier, I have a friend that is going through something with her sister, and her sister is not in the right frame of mind to raise her kids, and they don't live in the same state. And so she wanted to be able to come and get the kids, take them out of state, and help assist in that. She can't do that. She can't call the child services and say, okay, place them with me because she's out of state. Mm-hmm. I mean, the laws and how they're constructed right now. Why would the best alternative be for these kids to go to complete strangers?
Exactly.
That's stupid.
Exactly. And I don't know if Jeff shared with you. I'm going through a similar situation. I'm here with you guys in California, in Georgia. I can't even get a lawyer to talk to me because I'm in a different state.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that I can anticipate that's going to be difficult.
Yes, and it's just hard. It's frustrating, and I understand, what some of the callers are saying, but too, when you start looking at our laws in California, there's so much red tape that you have to go through and hoops that you have to jump over in order to get something done, that the laws need to be changed.
Well, I can appreciate that. In Gabriel's case, though, I don't see the red tape. You get a phone call, and somebody says this child's being abused.
Well, yeah, that was
the social worker has a responsibility. They have to go physically to that residence, and they have to be there within a certain period of time. And in some cases, it's the same day. Obviously, somebody didn't do their job.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't. And also, you can tell Alicio that he can put me because I need to get some frustration out, so I'll be there September 7th. I would like to be on the demolition team.
We'd love to have you. Love to have you.
Okay. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Mia.
Bye,
Thanks
Mia.
for calling in. Mm-hmm. Let's just take a quick break. You're listening to News Talk Radio on News Talk. Yeah. AVNewsCast on News Talk Radio 1380, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. Thanks.
Looking for the best small car deal in America? You have got to listen to this. Hi, folks. Tim Richardson here for Antelope Valley Nissan Superstore, and I've special ordered brand new 2012 Nissan Versa hatchbacks that are loaded with factory navigation with XM traffic for only $15,995. Let me say that again. $15,995 for a loaded new 2012 Versa with factory navigation. Now, when I say loaded, they're automatic, air-conditioned, power windows and locks, cruise control, AM, FM, CD, XM radio, iPod connection, keyless entry, Bluetooth, hands-free phone system, alloy wheels, and much, much more. I have 17 to choose at this price, but I promise you, they will go fast. So hurry into Antelope Valley Nissan Superstore to Palmdale Automall and get your loaded brand new 2012 Versa hatchback with factory navigation and XM traffic for only $15,995. When they're gone, they are gone. Antelope Valley Nissan Superstore to Palmdale Automall. Don't miss it.
$15,995 net cost is after $500 factory rebate and $500 NMAC cash. Must finance with NMAC on approved credit.
My name is Gene. I am an 85-year-old patient of Dr. Brewster at Boulevard Dental. I have been afraid of the dental office since my experience in the Navy in World War II. A friend recommended Dr. Brewster and sedation dentistry. Well, it works. I have had the best dental experience and no memories of them. Do yourself a favor, lose the fear, and save your teeth. Call Dr. Brewster at Boulevard Dental. You will be glad you did.
This is Dr. Reed Brewster from Boulevard Dental Group. Don't let fear stop you from obtaining regular dental care. Please give us a call at Boulevard Dental Group, 947-7737.
Trouble getting your golf ball in the air? You may have trajectory dysfunction, better known as TD. There's only one way to treat TD. Get a grip golf talk on News Talk 1380. Symptoms of listening can include going to the range frequently to practice your golf trip. Ask your physician if your heart is healthy enough to call in. If practicing your stroke for more than 4 hours, seek immediate attention to avoid any long-term injury. Individuals have reported a sudden decrease on their scorecard as a side effect. Wipe out TD. Tune in Saturday mornings at 9 to News Talk 1380 AM and let's get a grip.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on News Talk 1380.
Hey, one thing that we haven't done is introduce Alicio. Yeah. Alicio's here with us as well. He actually lives in Victorville, but up here in the high desert. I've seen him around at a lot of functions at Gabriel's. I've seen him at City Council. He's a Brown Beret. Thanks for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me.
Now,
Good morning, everybody.
Let me ask you a question. You got involved in all of this because I want to try to paint a picture for the listeners so they understand. Okay, you got involved with all of this how?
Got involved with another promoter. She is like a party promoter out here. As with everybody else, we all heard about this on the news. we got the idea to get involved. She called me and said, hey, would you like to be involved and help us raise funds to help bury Gabriel? I said, sure. And she said, well, let's do a car show. This is right up my alley. I said, okay, let's get it together. How soon? She said in 3 days. So we put it together in 3 days.
Short time.
Short time, but got together about 3,000 people.
Wow.
That's in 3 days?
In 3 days.
That's pretty awesome.
Motorcycle clubs. Furthest someone came was from Santa Maria and San Diego.
Nice.
North and south.
Nice.
Now, I know there was some controversy, regarding Gabriel's death and his burial and the money and all this other stuff. But you're involved in other things. I was at the city council meeting when they announced that they had formally made a decision to create and name Gabriel's house in the city of Palmdale.
Yes, sir.
I know you're very involved in what's going to be happening there. I think it's on September 7th.
September 7th will be the start of the renovation of that home. That home is going to be for the entire community of Palmdale or Lancaster or Victorville, whoever can reach it. It's for the children. We do not have enough arts education in our school system. So we're getting together musicians, DJs as myself, artists, muralists, dance instructors, free of charge. So we're going to make this community home, redesign it so it's like a studio. So these kids come after school several times a week, and they can go in there and learn these arts free of charge.
Nice.
Now, since Alicio, since you've gotten involved in this, you've met members of the family. You've met Robert?
Briefly.
Briefly.
Yes.
Okay.
I've only actually, on that Sunday, the car show, I spoke with him a couple times during that car show. Then I spoke with him twice. Once on Monday, right after the car show, and then one other time a couple of days later, and that was it.
You and I were talking off the air, in a hypothetical. If this had been my son, if something had happened, we're both parents, what would you have done? I would have done whatever I had to do.
If it were my grandson, son, nephew, niece, neighbor, I really don't care, because that's my oath as a brown beret, to protect my people and to help my people. If I couldn't get the authorities to handle it, you would have found me and my grandson somewhere outside of the United States, hiding out for his safety till he grows up to be an adult and take care of himself.
Right. But one fear was, and Robert has said it on the show, he tried to get Gabriel. He wasn't able to. If he was going to go any further, he may have done something that may have put him behind bars.
Okay, so behind bars. Let's live behind bars. What the guys in the bar in jail going to say? Wow, you're a great guy. You're a stand-up man. You're out there trying to protect your grandson. You'd be the hero of the whole jail system.
Yeah, but the flip side to that, though, is he could be in the jail system, and the child is now on the outside with nobody to protect him.
Yeah. Well, there was nobody to protect him in the first place. He didn't do it.
There you go.
So what's the difference? You're in jail. You didn't do anything.
I think
he's doing more. He's doing more.
To sleep if you do that.
He's doing more now after his death than he did during his life. In my opinion, this is just my opinion.
Isn't that the way society is?
He's fighting hard now. 3 lawyers. Let's sue this, and this, and this. Matter of fact, let me just make this statement. What's going to happen with the money? Just like I asked him what happened with the money of the car show. Tell us, what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to?
We got a Facebook post saying
but you know what?
should go to Gabriel's house.
But
or it could just go to improve, hire a couple of great people for DCF. Something, feed some people, clothe some people. There's a lot of needy kids.
We don't know that that's not what's going to happen, and right now, right now there hasn't even been a lawsuit yet filed. It's just being mounted, so we don't know.
But we should know. As soon as we collected the money from the car show, not an hour after the car show was over, I announced exactly how much money we raised. And I announced during the car show what was going to be done with that money in 3 different steps. If we couldn't take care of Gable's burial, we're going to take care of the burial of the little boy down in Rampart. If they didn't want the money, then we're going to bring it back up here to the city and use it for the benefit of children in this city.
Right.
And that was voted amongst all the car clubs that were together. We had a meeting.
Now, did I hear somewhere, and I'm just talking to talk, but did I hear that you were making a donation to Gabriel's house? Was there some money that was being donated to his house?
No, what's going to be done with Gabriel's house is the money is going to provide sound equipment or dance equipment, that kind of stuff. We're going to buy the equipment and donate the equipment, not cash.
Oh, I got you.
Because we want to see where our money's going. Where everybody that came that day, those 3,000 people that donated money, where that money is going. Cash in hand? Nah, not cash in hand. Things happen.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I just feel that I need to say, this is not it's not normal that you file a lawsuit and then the family ends up keeping the money. I mean, what happened to what's his name, the black guy that got beat up in Sylmar?
Rodney King.
Rodney King. He got beat up and he kept his money. Things like this happen and you keep the money. I mean, for me, it doesn't. For me, I want to see the system change in and of itself. The money, for me,
I don't think that's any of our business.
I could care less what they
Myself.
do with it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it happens all the time. People sue and they keep the money. I mean, you're still with a broken heart. You still don't have the family member. It's not going to, take away that kind of pain.
Well,
I don't care what happens to the money. I care that somebody slaps the crap out of the system, and that system is there for the next child.
Well, for me, I care about the money for the reason is, he says it's not about the money. He keeps saying about that.
I don't think it's about the money. I think that's
So-
the only way you can make the system do something. There's not another venue.
Yeah, but you don't got to keep
can't
the money
say,
for your
Come
gain.
on, please don't do this anymore to the kids. Stop. Don't you see? They don't move.
And pretty much it would move. This is just my opinion again.
Yeah.
The system would move if everybody could be lazy and get up and go out to not just 1, 2, 3, 10 people, but thousands of people get together and go, this is what we want to happen in our city.
Yeah.
We don't care what you say. No, this is what's going to happen. We're the voters.
Committee.
Part of the reason that that what happened to Gabriel has affected so many people was because he was an 8-year-old defenseless little child, and that captured the heart of people all over the country.
It sure
You
did.
saw how fast, Emily, your Facebook page went. Gabriel's Justice went from 20 friends, 50 friends, 2,000 friends, and that's in an hour. And the next thing you know, it's 10,000, 15,000, 30,000 instantly. Because and every major news organization was talking about what happened to this child. And because it's so much in the forefront, and this is going to be the lawsuit that is going to change.
Yeah.
This is the one that has the power to change something. Okay? And I, myself, I commend the attorneys that are doing it.
Absolutely.
They're doing this right now, and it's not just one attorney, and it's not just one firm. It's a lot of people that are getting together to put forth the resources to really go battle DCFS.
To rock it. And they have to. Because there was a kid that died before Gabriel. And it was, you know what I mean? There's already a history. And the history has not moved the system.
No, and a baby was just murdered by his father maybe a week or two after Gabriel out in Echo Park.
Yeah.
And DCFS was in on them.
Well, there's other things too. I've spoken to the attorney that's representing Robert, and as an example, last year there were an estimated 120 children that were placed into foster care homes, where in that home there was a registered sex offender present in that home. These are the kind of things that this attorney, it's not only Gabriel, but Gabriel is the main focus, but there are other issues too that he wants changed.
Wonderful.
Right now, for instance, if someone calls DCFS and reports that there's something going on with this child, it's registered at the address of the person that just called. Now, if someone else in that building makes a phone call in another apartment complex, it's now registered to that apartment.
And it's
but
completely unrelated. It's not tied to an individual.
Now, if the school teacher calls from the school because the child's at school, it's now another incident, but that's, again, unrelated to the same child. So when the sheriff's department rolls up there, they have no access to what's going on with DCFS. They don't know anything else that's been reported, and unless it's at this one particular address, they have no knowledge that there's even 15 calls that have been placed.
Yeah, this is the first call, according to their computer, that they've ever had.
So that's something else that that Robert, in the lawsuit, that his attorneys want to change. So they really want to make changes from top to bottom.
And doesn't that rock you? I mean, it's asinine that we could hear about Gabriel's death and hear how it's handled in that manner and realize that they didn't know it enough to change it themselves. Really? Why does an attorney have to enlighten you on a system that doesn't work?
Well, because they weren't teamed up with the NSA.
Yeah.
That's the reason. They didn't have access to all the records.
Give it time.
Okay.
They'll get in there.
Yeah, but you would think that's a no-brainer.
That's so stupid.
I understand. But that's part of why this lawsuit is so important. Let's take a quick break because our producer's telling us we have to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you're listening to AV Newscast on News Talk Radio 1380, and we'll be right back.
There's a school in Palmdale that's become the talk of the town. It's called the Guidance Charter School, and many parents say it's magical. The Guidance Charter School is WASC certified, scored 783 in academic performance, and has an educational curriculum that exceeds what the state of California recommends. The curriculum is enriched through age-appropriate exposure for information technology, arts, foreign language such as Arabic, and physical education. The Guidance Charter School is now going to have a full CIF sports program with soccer, basketball, track, cheerleading, and more. They're an open enrollment school, publicly funded, and have been in business for 12 years, fully approved by Palmdale School District. The Guidance Charter School has small class sizes such as 20 students in grades K through 3, 25 in 4 through 8, and just 30 students in grades 9 through 12. Call the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale today at 661-272-1701. That's the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale, 661-272-1701. And check out their website at thegcs.org, a better high school choice.
If you're thinking about getting your backyard in shape for entertaining, there's only one place to shop, and that's Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. At Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale, you'll save up to 70% off retail every day at our factory warehouse showroom. Abadak has everything you need to get your backyard in shape, like 7.5-foot tall, 41,000 BTU, freestanding LPG patio heaters for just $159.99. How about a fully enclosed backyard gazebo? Fire up that barbecue and enjoy a nice meal inside one of our Mandalay, Trinidad, or Mykonos freestanding gazebos, just $219.97 every day. If you want wholesale prices, come to Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. How about backyard shade or car canopies? You can pick a variety of color choices starting at just $129.97. Stop by Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. We're located at 38940 Trade Center Drive, 1 block east of 10th Street West. The Abadak Factory Showroom is open from 8 to 4 every day. That's Abadak Outdoors at 38940 Trade Center Drive in Palmdale, where you'll save up to 70% off retail every day. Check us out on the web at abadak.com or give us a call at 661-480-1562.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on News Talk 1380.
Hey, Emily, question. Did you ever have an opportunity did you know Pearl's boyfriend?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Do you know how long she had been together with this boyfriend?
Honestly, no.
No.
Every time I seen her, she was either alone, taking off, coming back a little intoxicated, or with another guy. So whether they were her boyfriends, her friends,
you wouldn't have known.
And honestly, I never really interacted with her because just her whole demeanor and her outlook and everything, I just never really
wanted to deal with her.
Wanted to interact with her.
What about the kids? How are the kids doing?
I haven't heard nothing about them, to be honest with you. Oh. As far as I know from Elizabeth, which is the sister-in-law of Sandra, she believes they're already in Texas with the paternal side.
Oh, so all those kids had the same father?
The 4 oldest ones did. Mm-hmm. Gabriel being the youngest from the same father.
Oh, okay.
The other 3 are now with the paternal grandparents.
Okay.
From what I was told last week when I spoke with Elizabeth.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because that's tremendous for them to get over. Were they in the house? Do you know if they were in the house?
Yes. She had custody of the Virginia, Ezekiel, and then Gabriel. So all 3 of them were there. And from what Robert and Sandra said, they witnessed a whole lot.
Oh.
You know, to the point where they even had to lie and agree upon saying that Gabriel fell out of the bunk bed, or he was hurt by his bicycle riding it outside. So
I had heard the same thing. That the kids were told what to say if they were ever questioned.
Yeah.
This is exactly how you respond. This is what you say happened. You know,
and being that age and
right.
seeing that, and if you don't want that same treatment and being inflicted with that abuse, you're going to lie.
Yeah, no, obviously.
And you have to deprogram those children, and they need a lot of work, a lot of counseling.
Right.
Because will they ever get over the death of their brother?
Right. And the paramedic that rolled up to the residence that responded to that, and immediately he was told by Pearl, okay, what allegedly, what the story was.
Yeah.
And he immediately examined Gabriel and looked over at the sheriff deputy there, and he said, I don't care what she's saying. That's not what happened to this child.
Right, right.
Okay? That absolutely is not what happened.
My question is, when I seen it on the news, if your son, as you say, was not abused by you, why then would you drive him to the hospital? Let him go alone, airlifted to Children's Hospital, and go back home to sleep. What parent does that? Who leaves their injured child at the hospital so they could go home and sleep? And that's where she was arrested. She wasn't arrested in her home. I mean, in the hospital with Gabriel. She was arrested in her home, and that's what caught my attention when her name passed over the screen. Pearl Fernandez, Palmdale resident, 8-year-old boy.
That's
hospital.
how you found out?
That's how I found out. And honestly, I'm not a big news person because of all of this abuse on children. It breaks my heart. But her name caught my attention because I don't know any other Pearl Fernandez that lives in Palmdale.
Yeah.
And when I seen her face in the cop car, that's when I called my mom, and calls started coming through where we had to contact the family to see if it was true, if it was the same family member. That's how I found out.
Right. Well, I remember because the day prior, there had been a shooting in another apartment at that complex. And people had been talking about that, and then we had heard about what happened with this with Gabriel. And at that time had not even known Gabriel's name yet. And we were talking about an 8-year-old child that had been rushed to the hospital, and we knew people here around town and started investigating the story, and we couldn't believe it. And as parents, this was something that we could not comprehend at all. I remember going to his memorial at school. I was there with Angelina, and his teacher was there talking. And she talked about the fact that he was I think it was the 23rd or 24th child, student. And each kid in the class, they have seats and numbers, and she talked about the fact that she was going to retire his number. That's tough.
It is.
It's tough.
What do you think should happen to the social workers and the supervisors? Do you think that they should be prosecuted?
I do. I do, for the neglect, for not taking their oath seriously. They were sworn in to take care of these children, to protect them from people like Pearl.
Pearl, yeah.
And they didn't. They failed. One resident of the apartment complex even stated Pearl and the social worker were seen walking down the street laughing. You don't make friends with the parents. You're there for the interest of that child. You look at that child. If that child is in danger, you call the authorities and you take that child. You don't leave that apartment complex without that kid in your hand. So whether she was being sweet and portraying the good mother role, that's a red flag. Why are you being so sweet with me? If a social worker came up to my door, and said, "We got a call. We want to see your children."
A lot of the social workers present the argument that they have too many cases to deal with. They're overworked. They're told the voice that they have to speak in. Maybe they want to make some changes. Maybe they want to do something, but their supervisor doesn't allow them to. I hear a lot of excuses.
No, because let me tell you, I've raised 2 stepchildren. My oldest one is now going to be 21. When there were allegations put against him about his sister, when he was 4, molesting him, I had a social worker come, not only to the hospital, but to my home. They made us get family counseling. Now, was she sweet to us? No. Was she respectful to us? Yes. Did we comply with everything? Yes. Was she told how to speak to us? No, because I didn't see any supervisor riding her back. She did it because that was her job. She was there to protect my son. She even went as far as saying, "I need to talk to him." And he was 4, alone. Is there a safe place where I can speak to him when you're not in the room with us? Of course. I directed her to my dining room, and I went to the living room, and that dining room was off the living room. You couldn't even see it. It was like in a little room by itself. Now, the questions that she asked him, I don't know, because that was confidential between her and my 4-year-old son.
But that was, what, 15 years ago?
That was about 15 years ago. But even that, time and years shouldn't matter when a social worker is compassionate about saving a child.
Oh, absolutely.
I know. But go ahead, Alicia.
I could say, look, that what you just said, the excuse of, well, we got too many cases. Well, fine, I can accept that on the cases that you're not handling. But you're there handling that case. So you should do it 125% at least. And if it's too dark, have a flashlight so you can really inspect that child, whatever you got to do. But don't make an excuse you got too many cases. That's why you're not handling this case that you got right here in front of you, right? No.
Well, we've all seen the reports, and we've all looked at the reports, and you can see where, the allegations came in of physical abuse, and it said unfounded.
Man, I got the original picture that, I don't know if you guys saw it, that was posted up of Gabriel receiving the award. I was presented with it at the car show from the mother that took that picture.
And he looked like he was beaten up in that picture.
I mean, that picture sits in my brown.
Yes.
I have what's called a brown beret altar. It's my beret and all my stuff. And that picture sits there, and it'll sit there until the day I die, as a reminder to me what my obligations are. And in that picture, it's just clear, just everything to me. And I don't even have to be go to school to be a social worker. Yes,
Right.
to see it in myself that there was abuse on this child. And that social worker should have saw it. The police should have saw it. But it's sad to say. Here we are.
What it boils down to is common sense. Forget your degrees.
I've been saying that from the very beginning. If you would stop trying to get those people with the masters and the bachelors and just go after people that really have a heart to take care of kids, you'll lessen the payroll. That way you'll have more social workers on the street, and maybe some of the kids will be taken if they need to be taken. Instead of these higher degree people that know how to play with the words and write the reports that keep the kids in these abusive homes.
If they want to use big words and I want to become a social worker, I may not know a lot of big words, but I would be more than happy to carry that Webster's dictionary and look up some meanings and lay it on them, because all it takes is common sense.
Yeah, it does.
All it takes is heart. You know what? Yeah. It's not the master's degree. It's not the degree that's really going to save the kids. It's the person that's doing the job that's got heart.
Well, there is something you can get involved in. You can get involved in CASA, which is the advocates for the kids. Yeah. You don't have to be a social worker to do that, and you can go to court with them if you have the free time, and you can be there and advocate for these kids. Yeah. There's other avenues that you can look into as well.
Or just be a neighbor.
Yeah.
Just be a community member. Like the one that helped save that woman the other day.
Yes.
Last Friday.
Yep.
And that was just a woman that was driving by that saw a girl being taken across the street.
Appeared to be in distress.
And picked up the phone.
Yep.
And deputies rolled right up and were able to prevent something.
Is that the Richard situation?
Yeah, it's the Richard
when he was just asking for directions, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it was no intent to do no harm.
Right. Yeah.
You weren't in his head. You don't know what he was doing.
I understand. No, that's Emily. I want to thank you for taking the time to come up here. Alicia, we could do a whole nother show.
Oh, totally.
Just to talk about you and your background. We really could.
Well, can I just say something about what's coming on Gabriel's house? Yeah. I'd like to just invite the community to come out September 7th. We're going to start the renovation at the Gabriel house. You can look me up on Facebook, Eliseo Montoya, DJ Looney DJ, and I'll connect you guys with the information. We're looking for construction workers, painters, everything.
I'm working on a muralist right now.
Fantastic.
So
Wonderful.
I'm working on that.
Just come on out, help our community heal. Let's do something that's positive for our children. That's what we could do right now and make a difference now, while this lawsuit is going through its course. Because that's going to take a while. So let's not sit back and wait.
No, absolutely. I agree 100%.
And I appreciate you guys for having us here.
Anytime. You guys are welcome. Thanks for listening to today's show and making us the #1 news talk radio program in the Antelope Valley. Have a great day today. We're going to be back tomorrow. We've got a great show lined up for tomorrow, so check us out on Facebook and we'll tell you all about it.